Prove me wrong. Well, I want to bring some things to your attention that you might have forgotten about. First and foremost, let's look at it. Native communities need relief. This is talking about Native Americans. We listened and we took action. Okay, this is the federal government. They said we listened. Listen to this. We listened and took action. And with more than $31 billion for tribal governments and Native programs, the American Rescue Plan, Joe Biden's plan, delivers the largest one-time to the Native community in history. Then it says here, this historic funding is a down payment on the federal government's trust responsibility to Native communities and will empower American Indians, Alaska Natives, and Native Hawaiians to take really $31 billion. Oh, don't wait, family. There's more. I have a lot more. What about this? What about federal protections under the law? This was signed January 20th, 2021. One of the first things he did when he got inaugurated. Executive order on preventing and combating discrimination of the bias of gender identity or sexual orientation. See, family, I'm not against these things. I only hold one question. Where is our support? Where is our protection? Cut the check, as people will say, right? So again, this is for the LGBT community. Protections under the federal law. But wait a minute, aren't police killing our kind in the streets with qualified immunity or impunity? Because there's none there. They can just do whatever they want to do. But I got you. I'm just breaking it down nice and slow. So we would like to believe that the federal government hasn't done anything for Black Americans. But yes, they have. Let me back up a little bit and say, you know what? They've done a lot for the Black community, and we just need to be informed about. Now, for some of you who are not my new listeners, then you understand exactly where I'm going, and you're like, there's a twist. So they gave Black Americans the hip hop celebration day. Why is it that every time it comes to Black people, it's either food or music, right? Everybody else gets money or protection. LGBT, protections. Asians, protection. Native Americans, money. Immigrants, money. Everybody get money or protection under this government except for us. Every time they come to us, they come with symbolism as some sort of celebratory thing. No. That's not tangible. There's nothing I can hold. There's nothing I can get statistics from symbolism. No, there's nothing there. But we keep falling for it, right, family? The Senate passed a bill recognized August 11th as Hip Hop Celebration Day. Are you freaking kidding me? How is it that everybody else's culture seems to have more class than ours when it comes to this government? That they will stoop so low to give hip hop a celebration day. Like, we celebrate hip hop every day. We don't need a damn day of recognition, but this is the pandering they do to you. This is them slapping your face and shaking your hand all at the same time. Because some of you like, yeah, man, yeah, that's real cool. No, it's not. It's stupid. And if you believe this is good, then you a fool too. This is dumb. This is stupid. But wait, family. We have to understand the other things that this administration has done for other people. Biden signs funding bill, which includes $6.3 billion for Afghan refugee resettlement in the U.S. This is what Biden has done. So far, if you add the 31 billion to the 6.3 billion, how much we're looking at? We're looking at already $40 billion roughly that he's given to every other group except for the group he recognized symbolism, it all stands the same, as the number one community that voted him into office. Yes, family. The number one community that voted him into office is the number one community that he's totally neglecting, that he's totally ignoring. Because he said, why would I go and give you guys something where you have proven to be foolish enough to continue to vote and receive nothing in return? You see how didn't this go say Democrat? You see how this didn't go say Republican? Because it really doesn't matter. If one white supremacist shake your hand and another white supremacist slap you in the face, truly it's really no difference, because at the end of the day, you get absolutely nothing, regardless if they're nice or they're mean to you. It's like an abusive school teacher. She still whoops your butt, but she's also nice to you when other people are around. Is that what you like? See, when other people are around, these politicians are nice to us. But behind closed doors, that's when they really show their ass. Biden privately tells lawmakers not to expect much on reparations legislation. Well. Looks like my bias in ranting and rhetoric are true. You see that? They're like school teachers who beat the kids and be abusive. I'm not saying that they do. Just using that as a metaphor / analogy. But that's what we need to understand. They will smile in your face, but behind closed doors, they'll tell lawmakers not to make much of reparations. All the while, they're giving the executive order on advancing equity, justice, and opportunities for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. There's a difference between their executive order and our executive order. See, what you don't understand about this executive order, right? It reads just like our executive order, but in this executive order, they're giving the Native American community $50 billion. Family, you can't make this up. You can look it up for yourself. See, a lot of times we have to really look for stuff. Because I can go and dig into the dump, dig into the garbage, and find that this bill is giving Asian Americans $50 billion. To be exact, $49.5 billion. But in our opportunity educational executive order, there was no money at all. But see, these are the things that I think our people need to just be informed. Because I know we're not fools, right? We're not fools. We just need to be shown this information. But wait, I think there's a thing that you guys may be happy, because once again, I found something that the federal government has done for Black people again. Absolutely phenomenal thing. I think it's really going to get us where we need to be. We have, the lowest economic status. We are the most impoverished. We have the highest rates of homelessness. I mean, we have all these systemic problems that's dealing from the bloody fields of the South about ancestors being in shackles, but we won't go there, because we can always easily talk about those things. But how do we move forward? You move forward by first recognizing the idiocy of how they treat us compared to other people. They treat other people a lot better than us, and we continue to make excuses, mostly for the Democratic Party, for no reason and no reason at all. I have no idea why we continue to do this, family. But like I said, there's something they gave to our community once again, I think that you guys would be proud of. The George Floyd statue. Yeah, family, they made a George Floyd statue for us. That's our reparations. That's our Black empowerment. That's putting money into our communities and community centers. The George Floyd statue. That's what that'll do. Again, this is symbolism. And no disrespect to George Floyd or his family, it's not about that. Is it that we continue to be lied to and pandered to with no tangibles, with nothing materializing in our hand, in our pockets, in our communities, but we continue to fall for it. I think it's a wonderful statue. Well made, great resemblance to him. But again, if you don't get this George Floyd bill sign, then all of this means absolutely nothing. The statue really means nothing. Without no law attaching to the statue absolutely means nothing. Someone's going to ask you, what does that statue symbolize? You're going to say that statue symbolized police brutality, and that there was a law sign that when police are proven to abuse and terrorize Black people, that they're going to jail for life. So did that happen with this statue? Because without that documentation, without that law, without that legislation, then what does this statute really mean? Well, I'm going to tell you what it means. Police talks collapsed in Congress, marking end of negotiations spurred by George Floyd's death. That's what it means. It means that George Floyd died in vain. That means that all of our hard work, paving the cement, pounding the sand, rioting and protesting, however you want to look at positive, negative, talking to the powers that be of how we've been wrong and how we can continue to put our foot down and that we won't take it. And this is their response. Marking the end of negotiations spurred by George Floyd's death. The George Floyd bill. So what does the statute really mean now? In my opinion, it means absolutely nothing. Every time, if I was George Floyd's family and I saw that statue, I will have pain and agony in my heart. Because it doesn't mean anything, because the statue has me to remember of him, but not the justice that he should have reserved in all of our people. But I tell you this, there's something that we should be proud of, because when we are shot and killed in the streets, and we can always bring up Black on Black violence, but I like to bring on white violence and Asian on Asian violence and all the other people who live near to each other violence. But it really hurts when somebody that doesn't look like you kills you, right? I don't know. Or does it look even worse when somebody does look like you? But that's a topic for another day. It's something to think about, though. But how can we fix this? I believe I have a great idea how we can go about fixing this thing, family. And what we should absolutely do is bring over more immigrants, right? Because at this point, we're not getting any reparations. We're not getting any support. We're not getting any assistance from this government. So I think that the federal government did a great thing here, right? The executive order on restoring faith in our legal immigration systems and strengthening integration and inclusion efforts for new Americans. That'll help the Black community out just fine. I believe that will help out the Black community just fine. I believe that's what we need, is an aggressive bill heading to the Senate and also the House. Man, I hope this thing passed with flying colors, because that's what we need. Just need more immigrants to come over and help support the Black community, right? Because that's what our past have shown us. That's what our past have shown us, correct? Because we understand that when you give each illegal immigrant $450,000, then that absolutely helps Black Americans. I mean, so far what I'm reading here, family, is that 31 billion goes to Native Americans. Okay, cool. 50 billion go to Asian Americans. Okay. Now, $450,000 per illegal immigrant south of the border. That helps Black Americans. But wait, you needed to vote. You had to vote. You had to go get your shiny button because anything was better than Donald Trump. Now, this is very hard for me to say, but I want you to just listen to what I'm saying. I respect Donald Trump just a little bit. You know why? Because he was an equal opportunity racist. He didn't like Asians. He didn't like Blacks. He didn't like Hispanics. It didn't even matter. You knew where you stand at with him. Now, granted, there are some things he was doing for a couple of group of folks privately, but we publicly get slapped in the face. Now, a lot of you hold a lot of grudges with a lot of people, right? Somebody said something wrong to you and you just hold that grudge and they say, hey, man, why you have a problem with her? Man, she said something to me last week, man. I can't stand her no more. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When somebody say that one thing to you and it sticks with you, and now you don't like that person. It could be the most wonderful person you have ever met in your life, but you're like, no, I'm not dealing with that person. You're like, why, man? They said something off to me. What they say? Nah, man, I don't want to repeat it. Well, that was me when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. Wow. And if that's not the master to the slave, if you don't vote for me, you aren't Black. And I'm supposed to go out and vote. Is that reverse psychology like I'm a freaking idiot? Are you stupid? No, family. We're not stupid. We're foolish. Because I ask people that very same thing. I say, well, how do you feel about Joe Biden talking to you like that? Oh, man, he an old white man, but he anything better than Trump. Okay. All right. I'm just saying it's not a matter of voting for a particular party. No. You should be partyless. You should be voting for any party that has your best interest at heart because that is what everybody else is doing. But maybe you don't believe what I'm saying here. 450,000 to every illegal immigrant. That's a bit much. I wonder what reputable news site I can go to and find more information about this story. Wait a minute. I think Forbes is a reputable site, right? So let's look at that. We got all these pop-ups here. Give me a second. It says right here. Let me blow it up. The Biden administration is reportedly considering making payments of approximately $450,000. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. To each person separated from their family at the south of the border, showing signs of a potential settlement for several lawsuits that claim the U.S. government's policy left them with lasting psychological effects. I wonder who's taking them to court. It says here the offer comes to nearly 1 million per family. 1 million per family. Who got your reparations? Who got your reparations? Who got your yeah, they got your damn reparations. Afghans at 6.3, Native Americans at 31 billion, Asian Americans at 50 billion, and now most likely our Mexican brothers and sisters, quote unquote. Don't get wrapped up in laws and some of my bias and stereotypical things, how I'm leaning left or right. Get caught up in the money. Just see how everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting a check. Everybody's getting cheddar, cheese, greenie, whatever you want to call it. They're getting it and you're not. They're getting it and you're not. They're offering $1 million per family. Now, family, if you did the math of the amount of immigrants that come across that border each and every day, and they backdate this number is well over 100,000 people. This is America. Well, they can tell a group of people that we're absolutely, positively not going to do anything for you, but we'll do something and give other groups illegal to your country, illegal to your homeland. We will even fly them in and benign neglect you. We will fly in hundreds of thousands of people from another country that are considered white in this country, but from the Middle East. And we will give them 6.3 billion to get themselves off the ground and be more prosperous in this country that you and your lineage have already been here for hundreds of years. And some of you think that's perfectly fine. Some of you think that's perfectly fine. Let's just do a tally. Native Americans, 31 billion. The executive order for the LGBT community for protections under the federal law. But you get Hip Hop Day. Biden signs funding bill, which includes 6.3 billion for Afghan refugees resettlement in the U.S. I wonder if you and your family have ever settled in the U.S. Did you guys get any money? Did your forefathers are owed something that the present day descendants should be receiving? I'm just asking the question. Executive order for immigrants. Executive order for Asians. But we get a statue. But when the real bill comes to law, we get exactly what the screen is depicting. We get absolutely nothing. That the George Floyd bill died on the table. But we say, Mr. President, we want reparations. Well, I know what you want, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to get. Because when I speak behind closed doors, I'm going to tell those lawmakers not to expect much on reparations legislation. But that's okay. We'll have the Republicans mad at the Democrats that they'll give each and every 940 families $450,000 per person, up to $1 million per family. So they instantaneously become rich, and you black mofos continue to stay poor. And see, what you don't understand is an executive order is one thing, right? But when you start signing things into law, when you start hearing these HRs, that's when bills are going up to be signed. So I think it's imperative that we go over this bill for immigrants, because I want you guys to tie the link. They bring in over everyone except for people that look like you and I, or some of you. So I think it's imperative that we understand what bills like this actually mean. HR 1909, Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. Really? That bill got introduced. I mean, me personally, I'm a reader. Ladies and gentlemen. So I love this I wonder what's in this. I wonder what's in this bill. So I asked myself, it says aliens working in certain sectors and industries and occupations, except as providing in the paragraph 2, the alien should have at any point during the period described in subsection blah, 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 blah. But here are the areas that the illegal immigrants are in, and that we should make them essential workers. Again, I want you to read the title, Citizenship for Essential Workers. Let me break that down for you. Already, if you have to make citizenship for illegal workers, I want to ask yourself, how many of them are over here on work visas? How many of them are over here on student visas? Where you take the reports of hundreds of thousands of immigrants fleeing to the border. And I'm not even talking about the Haitians. But I want you to read the title and then get into what I'm getting at. Because these are essential workers. And this is how they're going to get their citizenship. So let me cut some of the fluff here. They said an alien, and we know alien are foreign to your land. That's what that means. Now, here are some of the sectors, industry, and occupations that they work in. Now, granted, family, I know none of us, we said it before, you heard your Democratic friends say it, that the jobs that they're in, nobody wants, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. The job that they are in, nobody wants. They're just picking fruit. They're just landscaping. That's all they're doing, right? They are in the sectors, and don't forget, this is not jobs you want. They're in the sector of healthcare, emergency response like EMT, sanitation like garbage men, restaurant ownership, food preparation, vending, catering food, packaging, food services or delivery, hotel or retail, fish, poultry, and meat processing work, agriculture work, including labor that is seasonal in nature, commercial or residential landscaping, commercial or residential construction or renovation, housing, residential and commercial construction related activities or public works construction, domestic work in private households, including childcare and home care and house cleaning, natural disaster recovery, disaster reconstruction and related construction, home and community-based work, including home care, residential care, assistance with activities of daily living, any services provided direct by care workers, any other provision of care to individuals in their homes by direct service providers, personal care attendants, and home health aides. What else could they be in? That these are the jobs that we don't want. Remember, manufacturing, warehousing like working for Amazon, transportation or logistics, janitorial, laundromat and dry cleaning. I mean, the list is extensive of all the jobs that you don't want. They said healthcare, medical assistant, nurse assistant, CNA, RN, LVN. Yeah, you don't know anybody that looks like you as a nurse. You don't know anybody who's a medical assistant. You know anybody that looks like you work at Amazon or a warehouse. I'm just saying that's what this bill is saying. It's saying that emergency response, none of you wants to be EMTs. None of you wants to be EMTs working for the fire department. None of you guys want to own restaurants, restaurant ownership. And just for people who cut and paste saying he's lying, here we go. I like to prove it. I'm still on the same order. And this is from congress.gov. HR 1909, citizenship. It should say citizenship for illegal aliens for Essential Workers Act. That's what it should be. But see, they put the illegal alien part down. And this goes to where? Refer to the Subcommittee on Immigration and Citizenship. Everybody's getting something except for you. Everybody is getting something except for us. But I'm just wondering, right now there's a push. I know Cori Bush has been very public about getting booties to the polls or polls to the polls and having us once again to vote for a party that absolutely does nothing for our people. See, what they do is they put a good number of our people in office, just enough for our low energy, low intelligence, low vibrational Negroes to be like, look, they did do something. Look at Stacey Abrams. Look at Lakeisha Bottoms. They and which you'll come to find out that these people that are in party, the congressional black butt kissers, all of these people are in these positions to keep us exactly where we are. Because if they wouldn't, they'll be ran out of office because they'll be trying to do something for us. Now, for you guys who are just tuning in, rewind the video and you will understand the point where I'm at. See, there's a movement started. And people say we don't need a lot, but I would love to have a lot of us, a third of us, even 50%, which may never happen, but at least a third, right? That we say, you know what? Stop asking us for our vote and cut the check. Stop asking for our vote and give us that $450,000 per person. Stop asking us for our vote until you give us $6.3 billion. Stop asking for our vote until you give us $31 billion. Stop asking for our vote until you give us $49.5 billion. See, the issue here, family, is that we don't see the connection of it all. If you continue to do what you're doing, they're going to continue to do what they're doing. If we continue to go out there in droves and wearing your little shiny button and we dancing at the voting booth with cash fit nuggets and butter biscuits and stupid ass coon hats, then you'll understand. Because last time I checked, we love repeating this famous quote. You continue to do something expecting different results.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep, wake up, I command